Right. So a Probidrink is our liquid probiotic, and Nutrimed is proud to say that this is the flagship of the company, and there's a reason why it's the flagship of the company. It is a fantastic product, and it's got great results, and the feedback from people over the past years is just phenomenal. So to start with, introduction wise, I would like to say, why do we need probiotics? First of all, probiotics support the body's natural defense, starting in the digestive tract by naturally restoring the balance of the good or beneficial bacteria. 70% of our immune system lives in our digestive tract. So a healthy and balanced digestive system plays a very important role in the strengthening of overall health and well-being. So inside the gut, almost 2 kilograms of bacteria. They say that we've got more bacteria in our gut than we've got body cells in our body. And that makes the gut actually a very dangerous place. So 450 different kinds of species, the good, the bad, and the ugly, is staying in that gut. And they form a harmony, and that's what we call the gut microbiome. And the ideal that the gut must consist of at least 70% of good bacteria, the probiotics. And it's very difficult for us in modern times to have a populated gut of about 70%, because the insecticides, the big pesticides, etc., that we get in with our food can also damage or harm our good bacteria. With that is that stress also kills good bacteria. And I think that we've got enough of that in South Africa. Worldwide, it's also a problem, but with a 46% unemployment figure in this country, I think stress is a major role player when it comes to the lack in good bacteria. We have what we call the gut-brain connection, and it's a very important connection. I'm going to talk later during the slideshow also on the gut-brain connection. And it's an important connection where the gut and the brain work synergistically, and therefore the good bacteria plays a huge role in that process. So some other benefits of probiotics: it improves your immune function because it's your first line of defense. Now, the good bacteria release what we call a fermentation byproduct, which is actually a natural antibiotic, and it chases away the other bacteria in the gut. Inside the gut, it's all about docking place, and we see that at our airports too. If you fly SAA, your aeroplane is directly docked at a docking bay at the airport, and you walk directly from the docking bay into the aeroplane. But if you fly the cheap flights, then you first have to get onto a bus, and you drive a long way to a far off distance where you get into your aeroplane. In the gut is exactly the same thing. Is the bacteria wants to dock to the gut lining, and once it docks to the gut lining, it can live off your food and it can multiply. But if it doesn't get a place to hold on, it just gets onto the brown train and out of the body. So docking is a very important factor, and therefore when we produce or when the bacteria produces the fermentation byproduct, like a natural antibiotic, it disconnects the other bacteria and actually chase them away so that they can populate the gut. So other bacteria basically has the same effect. They produce endotoxins that change the environment of the gut or the gut milieu, which makes it difficult for good bacteria to hold on to the gut lining, and then they go out. So we need to create a balanced swing towards the good bacteria. And that's why if we bring in good bacteria in large quantities, they can get control of the gut. So it improves your gut function because it gets rid of other harmful bacteria. It protects against hostile bacteria and prevent infections because they can get rid of them. It improves digestion and absorption of food and nutrients. So under normal balanced conditions, friendly bacteria in the gut outnumber the unfriendly ones. Probiotics can act as gut beneficial bacteria that create a physical barrier, and this physical barrier then helps to protect the gut from docking of other harmful microorganisms, and that can cause inflammation. So probiotics may help break down protein and fat in the digestive tract. Very important from a diet point of view is that if you want to lose the weight, why don't you just start in the gut first and break down that fat that sits in the gut and send it to the loo. So that's why in all my weight loss regimes, I start with Probidrink to get rid of that unwanted gut fat. Probiotics may help break down protein and fat in the digestive tract, and a valuable benefit that helps infants, toddlers, and patients who need to build strength through and after illness. So it improves your absorption. And if you absorb better, you have all your building blocks available. Another component that I also want to add to this slide is the breakdown of ammonia. So when we digest food, and especially then proteins and heavier proteins like meat, we produce more ammonia. And ammonia is a toxic byproduct of digestion. And so probiotics, the good bacteria, converts the dangerous ammonia into a more usable component, and it's sent off to the liver, where the liver can break it down much easier. So if you're lacking good bacteria, we get an overload of ammonia in the liver, and it toxifies the liver. So two methods of delivering probiotics to the gut. The one is in capsule form. So we all know the freeze-dried bacteria, either in tablet form or in capsule form. It is possible to freeze simple organisms under low temperature and pressure it in such a way that all the water is removed out of the without damaging the organism itself. So we're getting rid of the excess water, and we sit with a powder component. This places the bacteria in a state of suspended animation, which is well suited for long storage use. So we can take that powder and put it in a capsule, and you can drink it even a year after or later, and it will be fine. But when moisture comes into play, like for instance, once it's in the gut and the moisture comes into play, and then we rehydrate that bacteria, and a portion of the bacteria will go on to function and divide again, and there we get bacterial growth. So it depends on the method they've used in the process of freeze drying. You lose bacteria anyhow, but the small percentage that stay behind in the right milieu and environment can start reproducing again. But if you have a gut that's populated by dangerous microorganisms, then it's difficult for good bacteria to dock to the gut lining. And if they are few and far apart, then it's not really successful. And that's one of the downfalls of the capsule form or freeze-dried form of live bacteria. So the downside of the capsulated bacteria, all the moisture that is part and parcel of each microbe has been removed. Even if they do fully return to their former state with no harm done, nobody has been able to prove how long it takes. So you start with 2, tomorrow you've got 4, the other day you've got 16. So there's no real method how we can test how effective it is, except for the recovery period or the kind of symptoms associated with gut detoxification. The bacteria needs to come out of hibernation, and if the host gut is not suitable, they'll just be off immediately. So with the wrong milieu, with the wrong kind of microorganisms that's control of the gut, you're wasting your time by drinking any probiotic in freeze-dried form. If the capsule were exposed to heat and or moist during the distribution process, say from the manufacturer to the wholesaler, from the wholesaler to the pharmacist, somewhere along the line it got exposed to moisture and heat, and then that bacteria starts growing or wants to grow, and there's no gut, there's no food, so they die off immediately. So in the beginning phases of freeze-dried bacteria, it was a rule that pharmacists must keep the freeze-dried capsules in cold storage. And if you want to buy your probiotic, you come with your cooler bag to the pharmacy, they take it out of the fridge, and they give it to you into your cooler bag. Then it's got a better chance. So we call that the cold chain. And if you break the cold chain, then the numbers of available bacteria drops greatly in a short period of time. So the benefits of the liquid bacteria. The liquid bacteria are alive and ready to multiply in the gut. And if I put a drop of Probidrink under the microscope, you will see billions of cells swimming, ready to attack the enemy, ready to dock to the gut lining, ready to multiply, and their fermentation byproduct acts like a natural antibiotic. It's readily available. With a freeze-dried bacteria, they have to dock to the gut lining, then start multiplying, and if all went well, then they can start producing enough fermentation byproduct that will help the gut to get into a better microbiome by getting rid of all the other unwanted bacteria. Right. So liquid probiotics have also produced the byproduct of fermentation, including vital enzymes and lactic acid, which is a strong sterilizing compound. So the lactic acid from the lactic acid bacteria is a very good sterilizing compound. Um, it can also be applied orally, rectal, vaginally, nasal spray, ear drops, mouthwash. You can really go wild with the liquid bacteria, and it works immediately. So the main, the most positive effect of the good bacteria is the application methods. You can go wherever there's an infection, you can go there with the good bacteria. And the shelf life of the good bacteria is the other great thing, is you have to store it outside of the fridge. If you store it in a cool, dry place, it keeps on fermenting and keeps on multiplying, because the basis of the liquid probiotic, our Probidrink, is molasses. So they keep on fermenting on the molasses, and the older the bottle, the stronger the bacteria, the better the fermentation byproduct. The history of Probidrink, the formulation of the final product took me 18 years of research and development. In 2005, I did a PhD on liquid probiotics. I focused on thermostability of liquid bacteria versus freeze-dried bacteria. So that thermostability is a very important factor. We don't have to store the good bacteria in a cold environment, because they are alive and you want to keep them alive. You've actually got to store them at gut temperature. And in South Africa, we reach nice high temperatures, and so it's easily just to keep it in a cool, dry place and your bacteria will be safe. Don't put it in the fridge. It's live bacteria. It is just as good as I put you in a fridge. And so we don't want to put the good bacteria in the fridge. But the freeze-dried bacteria, the capsules, if you want to give them a better fighting chance, keep them cold in the fridge. So the idea is to develop a probiotic drink that can help with all the physiological needs of the human gut, including features like anti-inflammatory response, digestion, absorption, and an immune protective bomb. And this is really what the probiotics in liquid form is, and especially the Probidrink with its large counts of good bacteria. It acts absolutely as an immune protective bomb, because it's your first line of defense. It is your first introduction to bacteria. Is this what comes in from your food? So 90% of the serotonin, your happy hormone that's been produced, been used in the brain as your body's own antidepressant, 90% of that serotonin is produced in the gut and regulated by the TPH2 gene. So probiotics, our Probidrink, contains a herbal mixture that assists the gut-brain connection by calming down the gut and producing serotonin. So if 90% of your happy hormone is being produced in the gut, let the bacteria help you in the production and also in the transport of your serotonin that's been produced, so that you can be happy. So happy gut, happy brain. And people in depression, they always report of, after having my first bottle of probiotics, I start feeling better. So if you don't produce enough serotonin and you drink a SSRI, a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, which is an antidepressant, then the antidepressant is not going to work that well, because if you don't have enough serotonin, there's nothing to reuptake So we have to start with the production first. And the good bacteria, as well as these added herbs, I'm going to work individually through all the herbs, but you will see how they can assist in the production of serotonin. Okay, so how is Probidrink made? It looks like a wine distillery, but probiotic fermented uh, at body temperature for a minimum of 21 days in stainless steel microorganism tanks. So it's usually around 37 degrees where they heat them up, and they just leave them for 21 days to start multiplying. So they feed them with all this nice nutrients, and the probiotic bacteria starts to multiply, and they produce the fermentation byproduct at the same time, filling the bottle with a natural antibiotic, digestive enzymes that will help you to have a healthy gut. All right. So in this time of fermentation, the biological bacteria not only form strong consortia or groups, so they group together the good bacteria, which have adapted to survive the real world conditions. So when this bacteria start adapting, and believe me, it takes years to get the right bacteria to work together in groups. This is just like South Africa with all the different colors of people in this country. It will take years for them to work together. It's easier for probiotics to work together than all the people in this country to work together. But yes, we've got the formula right. And so these bacteria work in harmony together. They form these groups, but have also produced the byproduct of fermentation, including vital enzymes, lactic acid, which is a strong sterilizing compound of the gut. So in Probidrink, we have 12 different probiotic species, 1 billion cells per milliliter. Boy, that's a lot. So when we say take 40 milliliters, you're having 40 billion live bacteria in your gut. And so the delivery mechanisms of the liquid probiotic is actually the bigger problem, because the stomach acid destroy a lot of the good bacteria. But if you have 40 billion coming into your gut, you can lose 20 billion and you still have 20 billion, which is way more than you will ever have with any freeze-dried capsule product. So there are also well-known species like the lactobacillus, as well as the bifidobacterium species, which you mainly find in all probiotic bacteria. And they are the more generalized populations. So most of the probiotic bacteria on the market's got maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 different species, due to the fact that they can interact against each other. So with many years of research and development, we have the ideal combination of this probiotic bacteria so that they can work together in harmony. 12 species is huge, and not all companies can do this. You will see in these pictures that the probiotic bacteria look different from each other, but mainly they look rod form. It looks like little sticks, and you can clearly see them under the microscope as they move around. And this is the natural shape of the good bacteria. So my herbs in the Probidrink, the herbal extract blend with the following herbs. I added the chamomile. It helps balancing the amount of acid in the stomach, and a very powerful anti-inflammatory. It helps also to calm down the gut. So a gut that is in inflammation will always cramp, all those noises and the cramping. And the chamomile then helps to relax the gut. So can I also take chamomile tea? Oh yes, it's good for your gut. And while it's relaxing your gut, it also relaxes your brain. So it's always good to take a cup of chamomile tea in the evening before you go to bed, and it just helps to relax your gut. And but well, there's chamomile built in the Probidrink. Yes, then when it comes to balancing the amount of acid in the stomach, you will find that people complaining of reflux, after the first bottle of Probidrink, they'll tell you, oh, within a week, the free reflux was gone. And yes, the probiotics do play a role there because they help with digestion. And then we don't have to produce that huge amount of acid to digest the food because we've got the backup of the probiotics. But at the same time, the chamomile also helps to reduce the amount of acid in the stomach. So rosehip, it contains pectin, which is a soluble dietary fiber, and it alleviates issues like constipation, bloating, and abdominal pain. So this specific fiber, and one of the roles, major roles of fiber, it acts like a prebiotic. Prebiotic means it is food for the probiotic. So now you can think for yourself, if you take your freeze-dried bacteria in a capsule form and you don't have enough fiber in your diet, what are they going to live off? So once they get out of the hibernation and they want to dock and they want to start reproducing, they need food. And if you don't have enough prebiotics, then your probiotics is not going to make it. So let's deliver them with the right amount of fiber, which they then can thrive on. And it also helps them with bowel movement. So olive leaf, like we've seen in the germ killer, is that the olive leaf is antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and antipolytics. Oh no, it's a protector of the gut. All right. So I'm full of politics tonight, but the olive leaf helps then the probiotics to get rid of the other harmful bacteria. So your question would be, Stefan, if you add then olive leaf to your probiotic drink, isn't it going to kill the good bacteria while it's in the bottle? No. It works basically on harmful bacteria. So in the preliminary tests over the past few years, we add some herbs and then we do counts afterwards and count the bacteria, and we found that if you add this herb, they die off. And none of the good bacteria died off when we added olive leaf, which was actually amazing because now I've got something that can help my immune system while it's not killing the good bacteria. The same goes for elderberry. It may promote healthy digestive transit time, so it helps with bowel movement and digestive health. So I just wanted to add some, for all the constipated people out there, the elderberry, it helps to control and promote transit time. At the same time, if you have a diarrhea, it helps to slow down the gut. Okay. Siberian ginseng, it is an adaptogen. An adaptogen's got great function in the body, mainly anti-aging function. So the adaptogen is a substance that is supposed to help the body better cope with either mental or physical stress. So we've got sayings like, I've got this butterfly feeling. It feels like I've swallowed a brick in my stomach. And so this is all connected to the gut-brain connection. And if we have stress under control, we have a happy gut. A stressful person will always have some form of digestive problems. And the Siberian ginseng has got a great calming effect of the gut that also helps for mental calmness. And the brother of the Siberian ginseng is the Astragalus ginseng, which is a great immune booster, anti-aging, anti-inflammatory effects. So Astragalus is believed to prolong life, like the adaptogens, and used to treat a wide variety of ailments such as fatigue, allergies, and common cold. So if you look at just the herbal extract, and if you take that herbal extract and put it in a capsule, you have a very powerful antibacterial, antifungal, digestive, supportive, immune supportive supplement. Just that supplement on its own is on the shelves available for almost the price of the Probidrink itself. So this is also a good selling point, is to bring to people's attention the amount of herbs that's in the product and the cost of those herbs. So frequent asked questions is, why are there white flakes on the top? So if you open the bottle, it looks off. Sometimes it looks off because it's got this white flakes on top of it. And that white flakes, this is the natural yeast that forms when the product is exposed to oxygen. Other words, when you break the seal, when it's open, oxygen is there immediately, and therefore, due to the fermentation effect, it forms this white flakes on top, and it's normal for it to be there, and it's good. So swallow it. Why should one shake? Why should one not shake the product? Because the bacteria is alive. If I put you in a bottle and I shake you, hey, you're not going to like that. So the bacteria is alive. Don't shake it. If you want to, you can take the bottle and just turn it 2 or 3 times, but don't shake it. Okay. Can I refrigerate the product? No, it's alive. You also don't like to be in the fridge. Store it at room temperature, out of direct sunlight. You will see the bottle, the science on its own. We used dark colored bottles because the sunlight activates the fermentation. And so we've used dark bottles in the past, glass bottles. You get your breakages, etc., etc. So in the old days, we didn't have the scientific development of certain plastic bottles, and it was only about 8 years ago when the first polymer bottles were available with a smooth enough inside surface so that the bacteria don't attach to the surface of the bottle and also not being exposed to sunlight. So that bottle is huge science on its own. We have the probiotics, huge science on its own to get the right kind of bacteria to work together in harmony. And then also the herbs added is a great addition to the immune system and digestive advantages. And so the combination of that all makes this a very good product. How will I know if the product has gone off? The product has a 6-week shelf life once the bottle is opened. I can store the bottle, if not opened, for at least 2 years, and the bacteria will still be alive. But once opened, oxidation comes into play and fermentation gets into play. So what also makes it go off much quicker is if you take the bottle and put it in front of your mouth and drink out of the bottle. That is an absolute no-go. No-go. The reason for that is we've got more bacteria in our mouths that a dog has in his mouth. A human bite is more dangerous for infection than a dog bite. So if you put your mouth in front of the probiotics, some of your bacteria gets into the bottle and it starts fermenting with the good probiotics. And then the product goes off much quicker. So don't do that. Can I give Probidrink to babies? What age can they start to take the product and what is the dosage? Yes, depends on the age of the baby, but you can give it to the babies. Newborn babies, we actually start with drops. So I prefer with newborn babies for the mother to take a dripper, an ear dripper, and drip 3, 4, 5 drops on the nipple before the baby nudges to the nipple. So naturally, it sucks the probiotic and it gets into the system, works like a bomb. And it's enough. You can think for yourself, 1 billion live cells per drop entering that little system. Right. So when they get older, we give more. I work on a basis of after 2 years of age, they usually say around 2.5 years of age, the gut is actually fully developed and children can have even an adult dosage from the age of 3 years old. So before that, we can just give them per milliliter and see how it goes. Can I use Probidrink in a nebulizer? Yes, yes, yes. You buy saline in the form of Salix, which is a nasal spray, and you take the nozzle cap off, pour out half of the Salix, and then add your liquid probiotic to it, and then use it. Now, write your name on your bottle because we can get cross contamination if one of the children is sick and they put their bugs into your liquid. You've got a problem. And so everybody has got its own nasal spray and you use your own nasal spray. It gets off very quickly. Why? We stick it into the nose right there where the probiotic, where the harmful bacteria is, and we blow it in And then you have to take it out and release outside the nose. If you release it inside of the nose, it's sucking some of that bad bacteria right into your nasal spray. So that's the difficult part of making a nasal spray. And I say you use this nasal spray for about 3 days and then you throw it away, because otherwise the bad bacteria is also going to grow in. But I promise you, within that 3 days, you will be open, because that lactic acid in the fermentation byproduct is chasing away all that bacteria. In the beginning, if the nose is a little bit sensitive, it can burn a bit because due of the lactic acid. So the pH is lower and therefore it can burn a bit, but see it as a good burn because it's getting rid of all that harmful bacteria. You see, that's why it's so important that you can use this Probidrink in conjunction with your germ killer. So you have the germ killer that gets rid of the bacteria, and you have a direct spray into the localized area where the infection is. I've also seen people that just sniff up the bacteria, neat as it is. It doesn't smell nice to start with. It smells like bacteria, but it's also a bit strong. So I would still go the Salix route, dilute it and use it for 3 days and throw it away. Can I take Probidrink if I am pregnant? Yes, 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 please. Please do. The products are 100% natural and safe to take. Pregnant women need more probiotics during their 3rd trimester of pregnancy. So they're supposed to have more bacteria. They're supposed to have Probidrink because it's usually there in the 3rd trimester when they get constipated. And that's where the liquid probiotic helps a lot. So this is the end of the slideshow. For more information, you can also go to our website, and the dosages and application is also on there. I'm going to add to that article there on the Probidrink on the website. I'm busy with that, where I'm going to explain how you're going to use it as also a ear treatment. So people with ear infection, 1 or 2 drops just with a dripper. You buy the dripper at the pharmacy and you can drip it right into your ear. 2 or 3 drops is fine. With children, we just use 1 or 2 drops. And again, the lactic acid drives away the other bacteria. So for the women with vaginal infection, discharge, candida, etc., you take a 5 ml syringe without a needle, just the syringe, and you draw up your 5 ml and put it in vaginally, and then just give it a slow squirt. Otherwise, everything just slushes out. And that's when you go, before you go to bed. It will mainly stay in, and the good bacteria will then immediately get rid of the fermenters. And again, it's the lactic acid and the liquid probiotic antibiotic effect that's killing off the fungus. You can also apply of the probiotic on a cotton wool, and if you have irritation on the outside of candida overgrowth, you can just go on your skin on the outside, and it will take away that irritability. Talking about the skin, some people I've seen with hives, and they add the probiotic to the skin, and the next morning the hives is gone. So you can also try that one. Yes, all right. Rectally, you can also buy a 60 ml syringe. It's a big syringe um, with a tube this size, which is just the right size for rectal infusion. And so you just pull it up and lie on your side and gently put it in and squirt it in. And as it goes in, the bacteria starts populating at the colon. So where do we want the good bacteria? Actually in the colon. So the long way is mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestines, and then it comes to the colon. So people with severe gut problems, I do it from the top and from the bottom. And the bottom in the evening for at least 5 to 7 days. Look, we're pumping in a full syringe. You're looking at 50, 60 billion live cells per shot. That's a huge amount. People with chronic diarrhea, that's the ideal treatment, is starting rectally first. Yes, add it from the top, but focus on the rectal treatment. My colon cancer treatment is I take my I take 40 mils of the Probidrink. I mix it with colostrum powder, and I add cannabis oil to it, and then that whole concoction goes in rectally twice a day. And I've healed a lady, 72 years old, with severe stage 4 colon cancer. 3 months colon cancer gone with this regime. Twice a day, cannabis, colostrum, and the Probidrink. So people, this is a wonder product, and that's why it's the flagship of the company for many years. We can't keep up with producing and selling Probidrink because it goes well with everything. Now we're entering a phase where in the winter, the doctors prescribe huge amounts of antibiotics, and the antibiotics also kill the good bacteria. And it is so important to put back your good bacteria after antibiotics. You don't need really to go the antibiotic route if you have the germ killer. So it's a good combination, the germ killer and the Probidrink. Thank you.